Back. Good evening.
Welcome to our podcast. Well, I will talk in a weird voice for the rest of the show.
Hopefully not.
Well, I'll do what I want. Because this is the Jeff and Jeff Talks podcast. And I'm David.
And I'm Jeff.
And we discuss the things that we care about. And not necessarily what you care about. And if you don't care about it, well, you should probably start caring about it because we care about it.
Well,
and we're more important.
Mostly what we care about, it seems to be, is politics and politicky things.
We care about other stuff, but it's
do.
fun to talk about.
It is. And while...
It's like a giant dumpster fire that you get to warm yourself by.
But there's an underlying reason why everyone needs to care about politics, and it's not necessarily about themselves. But the reason you care about politics is because your children and your grandchildren,
yes,
they're going to have to deal with what happens in politics. You not so much, but your grandchildren and your children are going to have to deal with it. And that's why everybody needs to honestly be concerned about politics at local level.
Most importantly, at the local level.
State level and federal level.
Yep.
I mean, you look at the things that Trump has done at a federal level, we need to be concerned.
Correct.
And it's not that he's done bad things, but we need to be concerned because of the predecessor, the empty vessel that was in the office.
The walking corpse.
The walking corpse, whatever you want to call him, the dementia patient in chief, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, you got to be concerned about politics.
So, what are we talking about today?
Let's talk about Epstein a bit.
Who is it?
Well,
is it your uncle?
No, it's not
It's
my
not
uncle.
my uncle either.
Yeah.
That's good. We're also not rich enough to have someone with that much money.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the Wall Street Journal and the article they published.
The Wall Street Journal? Do they actually publish news?
As best they can make up.
Is Jerome Powell resigning?
Well, Jerome Powell's going to have something done to him.
It would be wise of him to leave, probably.
Probably, because then it would stop.
Did you know that a lot of people were wrong and the Doge Cuts are going to be made law?
They passed the Senate. They have to go back and reconcile the Senate's bill and the House bill. So,
yeah, I don't
but
see
that's
that
it.
being a problem. And then Mechahitler and
That-
other things.
Yes. So that'll be our fun thing.
Let's get started. So it looks like we're getting more documents. So I don't think Trump plays 5D chess because it honestly doesn't even take playing chess to outsmart most people. You could be playing checkers and you'd outsmart most of the media. But if you were to say that Trump orchestrated this whole thing, it seems as though what he did is said, don't look at this, so that he could get everyone to look at it and then make them all look foolish. That may have not been intentional. Yeah. I'm not saying it is, but it could have been.
He is the biggest troll in the world. I give him that. But him telling Bondi to produce all the pertinent grand jury testimony, the issue is two things in that sentence. One is who decides what's pertinent? Pam Bondi?
Yes.
And then the second one is it's all subject to court approval.
Correct.
So it'll be interesting what comes out.
Yep.
I'm just curious. And I think most of the evidence has been destroyed.
Or doctored in some manner.
I think most of it's just flat out been destroyed by the FBI and the CIA.
We had a water leak in the basement, and all the documents just...
Or they just went away. Destroyed. Nobody knows where they're at. They just happened to... The whole cart of them just happened to fall into the incinerator.
Well, actually, they're in shelf B on row 15, and then you go look, and it's just empty boxes.
Correct. Exactly. So anyhow, it'll be interesting to see what happens. They're pushing the court tomorrow to release at least the grand jury testimony, so we'll see what happens.
Well, and then Caroline Leavitt came out today. I like to listen to her press conferences because she's a reasonably intelligent woman and answers questions rather well. And so one of the things she clarified is what Trump meant by hoax. And he didn't say that the things or accusations necessarily that were against Epstein were the hoax. Those we need evidence on, essentially. It was more that how the Democrat and corporate press are treating it is the hoax.
Correct.
Because they didn't give a crap for the last 4 years.
Right. They had the opportunity, and we know one thing we know for sure, that is that Trump wasn't part of it, because if he had been, they would have released all of that when
Yes,
they
they
had
would have.
full control.
They would have charged him with something else.
Yep.
So, yeah. And the other thing I think is interesting, so you want to bring this up, but there's this new term being used on
No, the messages. or something,
that's
too.
fine. On X, calling people panicans,
Oh yes, panic.
because there's a lot of. It's almost like they're bots. There's people who say that they're MAGA influencers, but then they just repeat without any analysis or effort at looking at the information. Headlines from biased news organizations, as if they're true,
Yeah.
or are they held any weight?
So, I'm very interested in the Epstein story because I want the pedophiles to pay. All right.
Yep.
But Tim Pool today, on this little segment of his podcast, made me understand better why it's not a big deal to anybody else other than like 1% of the population.
Well, do you want to listen to the clip?
It's a minute and 46 seconds. Sure, let's listen to it.
All right.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Here.
Hasn't taken hold and hurt him.
Yeah, I mean,
You can find that this hasn't taken hold and hurt him.
yeah, I mean, on X, all you hear about is the Epstein files. But how about out in the real public? Republicans who said the top issue was Epstein case. The answer is one, and not 1%. One responded. This is a great little finding that Ariel Edwards-Levy, who of course is part of our polling unit, found. Just one single Republican said that the nation's top problem is in fact the Epstein case. Not much of a surprise that therefore Donald Trump's approval rating has not suffered with Republicans because of the Epstein case. Because the bottom line is most Americans say it's not high up on their priority list.
I think they're right. I think it's completely correct. This is something that we've floated for a while now. It is politicos and only the most entrenched that truly focus on the Epstein case. So I've been saying this is a story that cannot go anywhere, okay? And what do I mean by that? Let's start here. If you're a regular person working in this country, and let's say you're going to the grocery store and you want to buy a box of cereal and you're like $7 for Frosted Flakes, you're going to be like, what? There's going to be actions taken. When prices fluctuate, people get mad. Now, what about Epstein? You turn on the news and someone says, where are the Epstein files? It doesn't impact your day. You might just say, yeah, we should have the Epstein files. Then you go get in your car to go to work and you have to pay $5 for a gallon of gas. And you're like, I am angry about this, leading to action. The more people talk about Epstein, the bigger the story is. This is something that no matter what happens in the story, it is not going to be heavily motivating your average person to do anything political.
That's it.
And it's correct. Well, in the addition, I think what people don't get on the internet sphere of things too is the regular public gets tired of news stories that you repeat over and over and again, and they just start to tune it out. In addition, Trump did such a good job for the last 8 years of making the corporate press fake news, that now that they're pushing the story so hard, guess what the stances of the normies are going to be that like Trump?
It must be fake.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing that, to me, like I said, he's convinced me that I'm not going to care about it. In one way I am, but it's not going to be a political issue. And the reason is that normal people, well, in reality, probably the normal people don't know anything about it. They've heard the name probably, but they don't understand because it hasn't been covered by anybody. And so it's the other thing that the media leaves out, because actually Trump is doing a good job with this, is that Trump was doing a good job going after pedophiles and child traffickers in his first
term. Yeah.
First term. He did. Biden actually rescinded all of that the day of.
Well,
and
that's what I was
stopped.
just bringing up here.
Yeah. And so they're now going gung-ho.
Oh, yeah. They've arrested 205 alleged child sex predators.
That one thing.
This one thing. They've done this, I think, 6 or 7 times.
At least. And then
And
they found 30,000 of
Tom
the...
Holman has
Yeah.
said that they found the 30,000 of the 300,000 children
Yes.
that Biden allowed sex trafficked in the U.S.
Yeah.
So, yes, we want people to be brought to justice from the Epstein stuff, but the more and more, the longer it goes, the more likely it is that we just don't have evidence. And so, though we would love for us to be able to get prosecutions,
Yeah.
if you don't have evidence, you can't go after people.
Correct.
And so it just becomes why don't we concentrate on things where we can get results?
And now that the Democrats are jumping on it, you can tell that it's fake.
Well, and that's what leads us to this next story here. I mean, Trump's going to be suing the Wall Street Journal,
Yep.
News Corp, and Mr. Murdoch because of a fake story they just published about him and Epstein.
And it is blatantly obvious that it's fake. That's the amazing part about it.
Oh, yeah.
Not did Trump just deny it before they published it. It's blatantly obvious that it's fake. And so
One of the ways that people saw that it was obvious, I'll pull this up while you keep talking about it, is one of Trump's biggest critics said it was.
yeah, it's insane. It truly is. And I don't understand. I was tech IT for a bunch of newspapers, and they were bad back when I was IT for them, but they're just so bad now that they'll just publish. It's like they don't do research anymore. They just get a thing in their head and they just go for it, and they don't check their sources. They don't.
Oh, I can find it easily. So they don't check their sources. So here's what's happened with mainstream media, corporate press, media in general. They used to get tons and tons and tons of money because they had millions and millions of viewers on cable networks. They had tons of people who would buy their newspapers and read them. They had all this cash flowing in to make them money. And so they had larger staffs to do a little bit better research and stuff like that. And now with independent journalism and AI, instead of doing research, it's all about getting the story out the fastest. And so instead of doing any research, who was it?
And you have that on X. You do have that on X.
You do it all the time, but the mainstream do it as well.
But you have community notes that just even go after Elon, which is hilarious. They go after Elon, and they publish community notes, and they do a pretty good job knocking down these fake stories. I
Correct.
saw a statistic today it was published on X, but it was from I don't remember, some poll that they said now roughly 30% of the people worldwide, something like that, get all of their news from X.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just insane because you think about it, that's a huge number. And
Yeah.
that means we don't trust the news media.
Well, it's because they just make crap up. And this is something that people need to understand. As a small business owner, it's something I'm beginning to understand a bit more. If you don't have enough forward-looking perspective on what you're doing, then you get into this rut here where things are changing really fast, and so you just want to make a quick buck, and so you got to try to change to those metrics to try to make that money, and then you lose all credibility, and then you have no future. Instead, if you pick the tried and true method and stick with it long enough, you'll actually be able to gain your traction back after a while. But it's going to take a bit. It's just how it works.
Yeah, it makes sense, but I don't know what the issue was with. I really don't. I don't understand why they would push something so blatantly, not just false, but just easily checked that it was false. That's the thing that I don't understand.
Well, they have TDS.
Yeah,
They have
sadly.
massive TDS. So here's the little quote, if you haven't seen it, of supposedly what Trump wrote to Jeffrey Epstein and anyone who's heard Trump speak at all whatsoever, or any of the things he's written. That is nothing at all like anything Trump would write. And why I said it's funny is because Elon, who's been just an idiot lately, even came out and said that it's not Trump. Trump didn't do that.
Well, yeah, anybody who's listened to Trump, one of his press conferences, one of his rallies, one of any of these things, he can't speak in simple sentences like that. His sentences would be 5 minutes every
does the
time.
weave. He does the weave. That's what he calls it.
Yeah.
He calls it the weave.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
So, do you
Jerome
think
Powell,
interest rates are coming down anytime soon?
they just announced they weren't.
Well, I don't think so. I think they will be soon. So Jerome Powell has just been referred by at least one congressperson, criminally referred to the DOJ for perjury, based on they asked him where he spent this $2.5 billion, and he lied to Congress.
Yeah. So they can't get him to resign by Trump fired him?
Yeah, or pressure, just
Or
general
pressure?
pressure. Yeah.
Well, that's what this is. This is pressure.
Mm-hmm.
This is pressure. So we'll see what happens. It's yeah. We'll see.
I think they're trying to get him out before, like, quickly,
Yeah.
as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because they want to drop interest rates to get the economy going like crazy, and it would help a lot.
It'll help a lot.
And
yes.
he's an idiot. Here, I mean, in June, this is the first budget surplus. I think it's been it's longer than this, but this is the last, what is this, 5 years?
Yeah.
There hasn't been a budget surplus in June. And people were trying to make an excuse that the budget surplus was because estimated tax payments are due in June, and that's why. No, there hasn't been a budget surplus in forever in
the
June.
only thing that changed was the tariffs.
Well, tariffs and regulation cutting.
And drop in regulation. Yep. Getting the rigs to drill again, getting to produce the LG and ship it overseas. The natural gas and ship it overseas. That started. Yep.
Yeah. And, I mean, interest rates are down. Oil prices are down. Everything's down.
Well, interest rate really aren't down.
Not interest rates. I meant inflation is down.
Inflation. There you go.
Inflation is
Yes.
down.
Yep. Oil's down.
Oil's
going
down. Prices are down across the board, and they're continuing to going down. And yet, Jerome Powell's like, well, inflation on tariffs is still probably going to happen, so we're not going to do it. It's just he cut rates for Biden when
try
there
to
was
win.
no indicators
Yep.
that would be a good thing. And
Yep.
he won't do it for Trump because he's a political hack, and he should quit.
Yeah.
He should quit.
Absolutely.
He should quit. He should quit.
Hey, do you think he should quit?
Maybe.
Okay. Good.
I would like to fire him, but that's more complicated.
Yes, that is.
So that's why they haven't fired him yet, because it is more complicated.
So another exciting thing that a lot of people said wouldn't happen,
Including Elon Musk.
including Elon Musk. Now, the Senate did cut a bunch of money out of it,
Well,
but it's still $9 billion. They cut, it was supposed to be, I think, 9.6, and they cut it to 9. And so, whatever. If they get $9 billion through, this is the first rescission package that has been ever, I think, sent to Congress. Ever. Because, because before we were a balanced budget kind of a thing for the first 150 years. And so there was nothing like that. And then we started running deficit really is only in the last probably 50 years.
yeah. Well, and I think you're going to see an economic boom as well. I think this is the first of many. I think essentially Trump is going to use the Doge Cuts, getting them passed as rescissions to help with the midterm elections because they're very popular.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think that's what his plan is. That's my guess. And so we're going to see package after package happen. In addition, because Elon doesn't know politics, the reason that the spending ceiling was raised so much with the one big beautiful bill is so that we didn't have to negotiate with Democrats on spending at all.
Yeah.
What else? Whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so so we passed that bill and then we passed the rescissions. It seems stupid. I agree. But it's the way to use
It's politics.
power we have because we don't have
politics.
60 seats in the Senate. We have a small majority in the House. And so to use those small majorities to get everything done, You pass this massive reconciliation bill, and then you pass rescissions that pull funding that was funded in the reconciliation bill. It seems ass backward, but that's how it works.
So that's politics, literally. And the other thing that's funny about this is Ross Vaught. He says that this is a quote right there at the bottom of the page. This one was intentionally small so that we could get muscle memory going. Intentionally small, only $9 billion. Now, when you're talking trillions of dollars, yes, but you've also got to look at if you scroll down just a little bit further, Doge. Doge has already slashed $175 billion through contract cancellations, grant terminations, and programmatic reforms. Some of the programmatic reforms and grants and stuff like that, they just, like, we had licenses for 1,600
people about this.
And we had 100 people using them.
Same with phone numbers.
Same with phone numbers. Same with credit cards.
Yep.
And so some of the stuff they did was just like, well, duh.
Yep.
So anyhow, it's a good way to start. It's a good start.
It's a good start, but we're also seeing since the Supreme Court said Trump can fire people.
Yep.
That's going to be a huge impact to the bottom line of spending for the government.
Yep.
Because if you didn't realize, because you don't run a business, the most expensive thing on your profit and loss is your people.
Yeah.
Even in manufacturing businesses, a lot of
Absolutely.
times, your people are the most expensive thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
It's because of
going
the
in there and
benefits.
starting to gut things is going to make life so much better.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in not Venezuela. Where's the libertarian guy?
Oh, Millie,
Yeah,
Argentina.
Argentina. That's what he did. He cut so many government jobs, and everyone was worried that would cause the economy to plummet.
Crash.
But it actually does the opposite, because guess what? Government jobs still fuel from the economy instead of adding fuel.
Yes.
And so by cutting government jobs, you free up resources
And
for
that's simply
production.
because there's no such thing as government money.
Correct.
There is taxpayer money,
Correct.
and that's it. So that's
So I'm excited about the cuts. He started some small cuts. There was a lot of tears about, was it the State Department? He only cut like 1,200 people, and they have like 30,000 people.
Yeah, it's insane. And then the one that went to the Supreme Court was cutting basically everybody from the Department of Education.
Oh yeah, that
And
one's
so
gone.
now they're going to be able to get rid of the Department of Education. Now, if the Department of Education had caused our test scores to go up for the last 30 years, if that caused us to be number one in tech and number one with our students and graduating ones, I'd be willing to keep it.
Yeah.
But the absolute opposite has happened.
Correct.
It is our
Not only did the scores go down like this, but the cost per student went up like this.
correct. It's just opposite. Yep. And so we're spending more on students per capita than any other nation in the world, and we have the worst reading scores and everything else. So
All right. So before we move into the next story, there's some awesome breaking news that I just have to tell you about. And you may not have known that this still existed, but the Colbert Show is being canceled.
I didn't. I didn't know it existed. No, I did, but yeah, it may have to do with that $15 million payment that they just had to pay to Trump.
That's a drop in the bucket,
I
but
know.
it's more that they have no viewership because it was an awful show. Like, I used to watch him when I was younger, which was like in my, it was almost 20 years ago now.
Gosh,
and he
you're
was
old.
reasonably funny,
Yeah,
but because he wasn't really political and that kind of stuff. And now he has TDS just like everyone else on the liberal side of things, and they can't be funny anymore because they can't joke about themselves
Which is-
being idiots.
which is interesting because that's why Greg Gutfeld, on his show, he has more viewers consistently than all of the other late night shows combined.
Yeah.
And so it should be terrifying to those companies that are running these other shows,
You would think they would learn something, but they don't.
but they don't.
'Cause they're run
there's
by-
there's your breaking news for the day.
Yeah, breaking news. I'm excited about it. So, let's talk about
Grok.
AI in general, but also Grok.
Yep.
So, what happened to Grok this week?
They went from version 3 to version 4, and it renamed itself Mechahitler.
Yes.
And it was extremely racist almost instantaneously, and it was amazing in a bad way. And they literally turned it on for less than a full day. They had to turn it off, and then they spent time fixing what happened to it.
So, let's talk about why
Yes.
this kind of stuff happens, why this will continue to happen, and why AGI is never going to happen in the way that people think it will.
This happened, and Elon said this himself, because of the inputs to Grok 4 were this older version somehow got out there, and it corrupted what Grok was learning from.
Yep.
So, let's think about this. You have Meta, what's his face? I can't remember his name right now.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg saying that they're going to not allow basically any conservative inputs to their AI.
Yep. So what are you going to get?
You're going to get flaming liberal.
No, you're going to get Mechahitler.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that's what
right. Yeah,
the left is.
and even Grok has that problem right now because it's reading, so it's still biased because it's only giving value to like publications that are considered scientific by the standard media. So it's biased as well. But this was something else. This goes to show you the folly of what you're talking about, is the folly of AI and people thinking that
it's going to be smarter than people and going to replace intelligence
and not be biased.
And not be biased. Here's the problem, and I've talked to this to a bunch of people, and I will continue to tell people this: the future of AI isn't collecting the most information; it is collecting the right information.
Correct.
The problem is how do you know it's the right information?
Because we all have biases.
But why do Christians have a better view on what's the right information?
Correct, because there's an ultimate authority.
Because we believe in objective truth.
Yep.
And if you believe in objective truth, that means, if you didn't know what objective truth means, that is, subjective truth means it's something that I get to decide. Objective truth is truth regardless of my own emotions, thoughts, deeds, whatever I want. It exists whether I want it to or not. It is true whether I want it to or not. Objective truth matters. And if you believe that objective truth matters, that means you can objectively analyze information.
Well, and that's where the original science came from.
Correct.
And so with that objective truth, because with science, you believe you can get to the truth. You just have a process. Science is the process to attempt to get to the truth.
Yes.
And we've left that behind now as a society.
Yeah, and so now what you're going to get is there's my view on AI. There's two different things that are going to happen. One, you're going to have super specialized AI that they use in the medical field right now, where they just feed it scans, and it's really good at analyzing scans because you give it this very specialized information. And
Like
so
you
it's
might
actually
have
pretty good at its job.
a lawyer AI.
Lawyer AI is harder.
But I'm just saying, you might have a lawyer AI, you might have...
But lawyer AI is harder because it takes reasoning and does need objective truth and ability to understand things. Where with medical stuff, this is a lung, that shouldn't be there. What is it?
Yeah.
And so the other side of things is you're going to have those special AIs, and then you're going to have this AI that they're going to try to make general, that is going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And why? Because it's going to take everything on the internet, and then they're going to try to filter what they give it from the internet. And then because of all the AI articles generated by AI that are posted on the internet, and all the content created by AI that is posted on the internet, it's going to learn from itself.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Become dumber and dumber and dumber.
So what you're saying is
dumber.
We're going to have an AI idiocracy.
Yes, we will. Unless people figure out how to clean data. And that's going to unless you teach people about objective truth,
Yeah, you can't.
You're not going to have an AI that actually understands the world.
Correct.
It is going to be this skewed, weird crap.
A cliche that I tell people all the time about objective truth is the universe, God, whatever you want to say, doesn't care what you think. Because the truth is the truth. It doesn't matter what you think.
Correct.
The truth is the truth.
This table that we're at exists whether I believe it's there or not.
All right. My chair that I put
That
faith
wall
in to
right
sit in.
there exists whether I don't want it
Correct.
to or not. So if I try to walk through it, it'll remind
It'll
me real
stop
quick
you.
that it's there.
Yes. It's going to assert itself. Anyhow, this was hilarious. And
But I think it's a peek into
yeah.
the completely wrong things that people think. Like Tim on Timcast talks about how he thinks AI is going to replace all these jobs and everyone's going to be out of work and have nothing to do. And I'm thinking you don't understand how truth works and the difference between intelligence and wisdom. You might have an AI that knows everything, but if you don't know how to apply that knowledge, it doesn't really matter. And I don't think you're going to have an AI that'll ever be able to properly apply knowledge.
Yeah.
It'll be okay at some things,
Yep.
but it's not going to be okay at a large variety of things because wisdom takes objective morality and truth
And experience.
and
And
experience.
a lot of times wisdom is gained by what?
Making mistakes.
Mistakes.
So it's
So-
going to be interesting to see what happens with it. But if you didn't realize, actually AI is going to create a ton of jobs because who's going to build the data centers and maintain them? The amount of data centers that they're building, tons of them.
Yes.
And then who's going to supply the hardware for those data centers? You're going to need tons of people to build the hardware for those data centers. And then the power plants for the data centers, you got to build those and maintain those.
I think it's a waste of money personally.
I don't
all
think
the
it's a
stuff
waste
that
of
they're
money.
doing.
I think general AI is a waste of money. Specific AI isn't.
Yeah. I'd like to have a lawyer. Actually, I'd like to have a judge that is AI, not
No.
the lawyer.
You don't want
Because
judges in AI.
no, but what I'm saying is if they were to just follow the rules, if there were rules, unlike the judges now that don't seem to follow the rules at all, that would, I think, be an improvement.
Yeah, but we don't want them to follow the rules. Because
Well, I
some
do.
Of the rules are dumb.
Well, I wish, well, better still, we should bring back
Justice.
courts of justice, not of law. So,
Correct.
But that's a separate story. Let's move on.
Move on to what, though? Oh, yeah, this.
Oh, this was just the, I'm sorry.
So, what else got launched with Grok 4?
The 12-year-old boy thing.
The AI companions.
Yes.
What is wrong with people?
Well, I mean, because there's only like two guys, but there's a whole bunch of these anime girls.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
What's wrong with people?
what are you, 12 or something? Maybe the answer to that is Elon is 12.
Well, maybe. But the thing that people like to point out is like Elon keeps on talking about population collapse and then he launches this.
Yeah. Your friend.
It's so dystopian. And sadly, there's going to be a lot of people drawn into it because we currently live in a society of take the easiest route. And if you didn't know, the easiest route is rarely the best option. It's almost always the more difficult route that is the best option. It gives you
Eventually.
Eventually. Well,
Yeah.
it's hard up front,
Yep.
and the payoff is well worth it.
So I listened to a guy that used to say that there's high quality people and low quality people. And the difference between the high quality people and the low quality people is the high quality people think long term. And so they'll do short term pain for long term gain. And the low quality people don't think long term. And so they want right now at this moment to be as easy as possible.
Correct.
And
Which
so-
makes tomorrow harder.
which makes tomorrow harder. Correct.
Yeah. So that was a disappointing thing to see. And I hope it dies. Someone should kill it.
And speaking of dying, so everybody, it's too long of a
Sorry.
show to watch. I mean, a clip. But the Babylon Bee, which is considered the America's newspaper of record because Their satire, but their satire really comes true. It seems like they made this thing about a liberal she goes back in time to kill Hitler, and they have a conversation. Listen to it, guys. It's hilarious.
Well, it's the they did it. Was it them? Probably. It's that old adage that racist and liberals are actually agree on all the same things.
Yeah. Well, that's what they point out here is that eugenics and censoring people and taking guns away and this whole litany of things. Oh, racism, like you said, racism. They're talking about that in here. So it's enjoyable because it's funny, but at the same time, it's like,
It's a little sad.
yeah. So watch it. Take a watch. It's 4 or 5 minutes is all, but it's fun.
Oh man. Well, that's our weekend news.
Yep.
If you liked the video, like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell us about things you want us to talk about. We'll think about them. We may insult you just for the fun of it. We just kind of do what we want. But yeah, we look forward to seeing you or hearing from you in a couple weeks as
Take care.
normal. Bye.